Hey everybody, this is Reza.
This is Sandy.
Welcome back to episode 48 of the Stone Cold Sober podcast.
It was a great weekend for us.
Yeah, really solid weekend. Very, very excited to share it with you guys this week.
Absolutely. Now, before we do that, some housekeeping. Just wanted to let everyone know that we are on iTunes. For those of you that are still listening on YouTube, if you'd like, we are definitely on iTunes now. You can search for us by just typing in Stone Cold Sober Podcast. You're gonna see us right there. We've definitely had a lot of people have texted me, come up to me, and just said, "Hey, listen to the podcast. Love what you're doing." We really appreciate that support. And I think it's always fun when we get to share that between the two of us. Like, oh my God, this person reached out and that person reached out. Like, can't believe like our friends and they're actually listening to this. And people are commenting like, wow, I think it's been over a year since you guys have been doing this. And so it's sort of nice to get that feedback.
Yeah.
But let's just dive right in this week because we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
So you came up this weekend.
Yep.
And
went to see Bill Burr.
Yep, Bill Burr was doing the New York Comedy Festival this week, and he also had a side gig at Madison Square Garden. We had bought these tickets like a while back, and it was just funny how like this weekend always seemed like there was something that we were gonna do at one point, and then all of a sudden it just came rushing up, and we were like, "Oh my God, it's this weekend!"
Yeah, before you knew it was here already. So
yeah. Now, on Friday when you did come up, we were having a goodbye sort of celebration. Well, celebration, a send off, I think is the best way to say it. For one of my colleagues at work, and we were going bowling. And so we took a cab up from the office. We were also moving floors, so it was sort of like, hey, like everyone just get out of the office. It'll be a lot easier for the movers if we're not like in their way. And just like a normal day, like it's just any other thing. And then we get to the bowling alley. I got my shoes on. I like bowled a frame, and then I'm just like sitting there waiting for my turn to go. And I just like feel it from my pocket, and I go, "Hey, that's weird. Where's my phone?" And you know that feeling that like your heart just sinks immediately. That's sort of what happened to me, and I started rifling through my backpack and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I did the iPhone Find My Phone. And at first it showed up as like, oh, it's totally still here. And people were like, oh, it's in your back pocket. And I was like, nah, like I searched, like put your hand in my back pocket. I don't feel anything. And then we refreshed it and it was like 30 blocks away. And I was like, Jesus, all right. So I locked my phone. Sort of like, from a distance using the program. And then I started pinging the shit out of the phone, right? Hoping that if he picked up a fare, somebody's going to hear this thing. The driver picks up and he goes, hey, I got your phone. I go, yeah, I know you do. He goes, no worries. I'm going to come right back to the bowling alley, which is like all the way on the west side of town. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like that was really nice of him. Like I'll give him some dollars.
Yeah.
For making the trip all the way back. And then I sort of just started like my mind is not in bowling at all. And I felt really bad because I wanted to like sort of have I definitely wanted to have a great time with everybody, but with the fact that I like losing my phone, I'm just like I'm just in a totally different headspace. I keep calling him because I'm like, wait a second, you're going to the opposite side of town.
Right.
I thought you were coming my way. And then he picks up and goes, hey, listen, can you meet me at 57th or 58th and 2nd? And I go, sure. Like where? He goes, oh, actually, he said, do you mind meeting me in Queens?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not meeting you in Queens. I want to live. He goes, I'm going to drop my taxi off at the sort of like taxi company.
Like the depot. Yeah.
Do you want me to meet me right outside there? And I go, no, I don't know like that part of town. Like I'm not just going to.
It's nowhere near you.
It's nowhere near me. It's like 4 o'clock right now on a Friday, so there's mad traffic everywhere. Like it's just not a good look. And then he goes, all right, you know what? Just meet me in Manhattan. And I go, all right, listen, I'm all the way on the west side. So you call me when you're about to like head over, so I will try and time it as best I can. Don't hear from him until about 30 minutes later. He goes, hey, I'm right on 58th and 2nd. I go, I thought we talked about this. I literally said, can you call me? And he goes, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And then he goes, oh, he started getting really frustrated with me. And I was like, yeah, fine, I'm leaving right now. I thought you were gonna call me, but appreciate you making the trip back. I am going to leave now, and I'll see you when I see you. It is 5 o'clock, 5:30,
Right.
New York City, like around Midtown. Like everyone's trying to get the fuck out of the city right now, and I am like looking for cabs. But part of me is thinking like that would be the dumbest thing for you to do right now is just to get into a cab because you're just gonna sit there. You're gonna
Yeah,
pay
yeah.
all this money, and you're not gonna make any progress. So he calls me. He goes, "Where are you?" And I go, "Listen, I am only like 2 blocks and 2 avenues away." He goes, "Jesus, are you like in a cab?" I go, "No." He goes, "All right, fine, I'm coming to you." So I just keep like pinging the location on my phone. He's slowly making his way over.
Yeah.
And then at one point, like I guess the Wi-Fi didn't work or something, or like the location services didn't work as well. Cause I'm like, you're stuck at this one intersection for like 10 minutes. That's kind of weird. He calls me. Goes,
Hold
all
on,
right.
sorry.
What's that?
Who's are you using somebody's phone
I'm using
doing
somebody
this?
else's phone. I should
Okay,
have said that. Yeah, I somebody at work, my good friend, he lent me his phone, so I was able to do this.
gotcha.
And he pings me. He goes, "Hey, I'm 3 blocks away. Be on the northwest corner." I was there. He slowly pulls up and he goes, "Hey, are you the guy without the phone?" I go, "Yes, I am." He goes, "So," and I go, "Listen, man, I got $100 for you for coming back." And it's a good bit of money. It's a good
That's a lot. That's a
amount of
lot of money.
money,
Yeah.
but it seemed like the way he took it, it wasn't gonna be enough
Yeah.
because I'm about to pay him. I go, "Hey, where's my phone?" He goes, he's pointing to it and it's like sitting on like the passenger side like seat, and I was like, "Wait, I've seen this move before. I'm gonna give you the money and you're gonna drive off." And so I sort of like slowly like I'm holding the money in one like in my right hand and I slowly reach down with that hand and then
Yeah.
I just like snatch it and then he looks at me and goes, "Hey man, I gotta drive all the way back to Queens." So I kind of like over like play the nice guy and I was like, "Hey man, I really appreciate you coming back out. I hope somebody pays it forward, yada yada." And he goes, "Hey man, it's like I still gotta drive back to Queens." And at this point I was like, "Listen man, we all got something out of this, you know? Like you
Yeah.
got $100 that you probably wouldn't have gotten,
You wouldn't have made that much money off of one fare
right?"
or a couple, like the however many
And
fares he would have done in that time. I mean, his
exactly,
presumably his shift was over anyway, so he just
right,
made
because
extra
he was
money.
returning the car.
Right.
So I was like, "Hey man, like I really appreciate it again for coming." And I just walked out, like walked
Yeah.
away. He goes, "All right, man, you have a good weekend." And I was like, I already gave like some of my friends later were like, "Oh, you gave him too much money," and I was like, you know what? I just kind of wanted this behind me. And I was willing to pay a premium for that to happen. And so, I mean, thankfully, this is the only time this has ever happened. Hopefully, this does not become a repeat thing that I start doing. But it was quite the ordeal. And it felt and I felt really stupid because I got home and my roommate was like watching the news and I had no idea what was going on in Paris.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I feel so dumb for being just like wrapped up in my own world about my phone. So a part of me was really guilty. Like, man, you like there's bigger things to worry about in this world. But I definitely lost sight of that. So kind of a New York story. Thankfully, this one has a happy ending.
Yeah. I hear you.
But because when I got my phone, I saw you had texted, and you're like, "Hey man, what's your address?" Sorry. You're like, "Hey, what's your
Yeah.
address?" And I go, I knew it. Like I knew that you were gonna be texting me, and I felt bad I didn't have my phone on me. And thankfully, I was able to at least connect with you because that would have been made the weekend a lot harder. Just like not having a
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah. I mean, what would have happened is I would have ended up just taking the train over to your place. And we could have met up there. It wouldn't have been that big of a deal. Um, what was interesting though is that my trip, my afternoon, I guess, was kind of a bit hectic as well, in that I was supposed to catch a bus at 5:30 p.m. to go up to meet you at about like 7:30, right? And we
Yeah.
were going to meet up with an old friend. you know, get some food, chill out. And it turned out that my bus was delayed, heavily delayed. It ended up coming, I think, about 2.5 hours later. And so I'm like hanging out at the bus station. Lane is just waiting out for me. I keep trying to get her to leave, but she's not leaving. Um, and finally, so I finally get in touch with you, and then that's when you tell me about what's going on in Paris. I'm like, wow, I had no idea. Like, I've been, I've been, back and forth between the car, the bus station, trying to figure out if I can get more information, talking with other people outside. Nobody had any idea. I don't think anyone was like checking their phones, looking at the news, stuff like that. Um, so when you tell me what's going on in Paris, I realize that that must be in addition to just the regular traffic coming out of Philly, because apparently our bus was coming from Philly. So presumably, I guess it was coming south, and then it was turning back around in Wilmington, going back up to New York. Whereas I think one other bus came from the south, came from like Virginia, going up to New York. Like the 6:20 bus going to New York arrived before my 5:30 bus going to New York.
Wow.
Um, and that bus was late was late as well. But so I think that there was a bit of traffic coming out of Philly. I was thinking that maybe there was some security issues, so lots of people were kind of, they were shutting down parts of Philly. I assumed it was even worse in New York. Um, and so I was literally about 5 minutes away from rescheduling my ticket, my bus ride up till tomorrow, because at this point it's like, I don't know, 8 o'clock. Is it 8? No, it's close to 8. It's probably 7:30 or so.
Right.
And I'm just like, well, I'm gonna get in really late, barely gonna have time to do anything. I might as well just like take a bus up tomorrow, or just drive up most of the way tomorrow, find a place like park at a friend's place in Jersey, because he lives really close to Hoboken. I'd be able to just catch a train from his place over to you.
Yeah.
So I was highly considering that, and then the bus all of a sudden showed up. So caught the bus, had a pretty smooth ride over. Actually, very smooth ride over. No traffic, no issues getting into the Lincoln Tunnel, nothing at
Wow.
all.
That's when you get hit with the dream run like that, like you remember.
Yeah,
I'm taking the
aside from the fact that it took 2.5 hours for me to get on the bus in the
Well,
first
that's
place.
fair. That I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean that's
like
definitely gonna be an issue.
yeah, I mean, it was annoying because by the time I got on the bus, I was supposed to have been there already. But I had to have expected that as well. Rush hour on Friday, Friday evening. But that's really the best that I could do. I really did have a busy week at school this week, with work, school, whatever you want to call it, and um, I even had to like do a bit of work when I was at your place too. But finally made it up. It worked out pretty well too, because I ended up meeting with you like right after the bus station.
Yeah, because I was in the neighborhood. I was grabbing a drink with
Yeah.
with some friends, and by drink I had a club soda. But the yeah, it was just because when I found out like, hey, when you're gonna be there, and I was like, well, I'm kind of like a few blocks from you. There's no point in like trying to meet up somewhere else if we can just like connect now.
Right.
So that was the plan, and then we met up at the Port Authority, got
Yep.
some food on the way home, and sort of just like chilled out for the first night.
Yeah.
I mean, I had you play Journey,
Yeah, you did, which was
which
really
was
good.
yeah, and it was funny because this was like a patented like late night gaming session. Um,
Started at like 12:30 a.m.
yeah, ended at 2.
Yeah.
Uh, and then you definitely gave like you definitely brought up a really awesome point regarding Journey. Comparing it to the I guess the Greek mythology,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Sisyphus, the story.
Yep. Yep.
And so that's something that I'll definitely be sort of pondering later on my own some more.
Yeah.
And then we sort of just like went to bed because I was like, hey, we got breakfast in the morning. Like we had a pretty packed day on Saturday. And I know that as I went to bed, I was like, oh man, like we're definitely gonna want to see Spectre.
Spectre. Yeah, I keep saying Skyfall. Spectre.
Yeah, we saw Spectre. So as I went to bed, I like bought tickets on the app, and I was like,
Nice.
oh, like just because I knew that this is the kind of place where you can like book your own seat. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, you know what? Like it'll just peace of mind. I don't want because I wanted to see it. I think sometime earlier, or I was in a situation where I want to see the movie Spotlight with a friend earlier in the
Okay.
week, and then like somehow it got sold out, and I just like I hate getting caught in a situation like that because you're like, oh well, all of our plans need to change now because it's obviously been sold out. So I just bought the tickets like right before I went to bed. and then we
Yeah.
woke up pretty early to get breakfast, and it was we went to the Smith. God bless the Smith. God bless the Smith. Did you enjoy it?
It was really good. Yeah. Great
It
omelet.
was a lot of food.
Great food. Ton of coffee. Like they're on point when it comes to the coffee refills. And I was just like, yeah, she comes back with more coffee. Like, want more coffee? I'm like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
I had too much coffee.
No, we both had too much coffee. We were buzzing when we were waiting for our ride to go uptown to Lincoln Center and watch the movie. I'm so
Yeah,
bummed that your get code didn't work.
yeah, but that's all good. I'm glad you got the 30 at least. You know,
Yeah,
got half the deal.
yeah. I just because it's always nice to have like just like some money laying around for rides in the city because
Right.
everyone's always running these deals. But we like I thought we left on time for the movie. I was like, oh, we've got about like close to an hour when we
Yeah, it
left.
was about 50 minutes.
I was like, oh, like this will be good. We can sort of take our time when we get up there. There's like no rush,
Yeah.
and then we just hit just like bumper to bumper traffic, and I'm like, I'm not. I'm basically starting to freak out. I won't lie to you. I'm like, oh my god, like it's already 12:30, and it's 12:50. We're 8 blocks away. Cars aren't moving, and it's like, oh my god, we're gonna start. At this point, I'm thinking we're missing the movie.
Yeah, same.
So I talked to the guy. Great driver. He played all of like classic OG weekend hits. The weekend. I was like, oh man, this guy is just like you're playing the CD. Oh okay.
Gave him a
And
5-star rating too.
oh I did.
No, no, I did. I did. Like on the app, I gave it
Oh
five
yeah.
stars.
Oh, I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Nice guy. I don't. It depends on what mood I'm in if I'm gonna talk to the driver. But if like you're
Yeah.
there, I'm not gonna be talking to the driver too much.
Yeah.
And then we just start. We hustle to
Oh,
the.
we were moving.
We were moving, um, moving a mile a minute, and then we get there and like we gotta go to the bathroom because obviously we're old and had too much coffee. And then I'm like hearing the movie, like the sounds from the theater, and I go, oh my god, we're missing
We're
this.
missing it.
We're missing the beginning of the movie.
Right.
We walk
Because
in.
like it's like 25 minutes late. The movie's supposed to start at like it starts at 12:40, and at this point it's like 105, 110,
Yeah,
right?
like
So at this point I'm like, even with a lot of previews, there's no way we're getting in before this movie starts, right?
yeah, like we're in the movie now.
Yeah, it's got to be.
We like we're missing parts of the movie.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, we show up and they're in the middle of previews.
Yeah.
And that's just like, oh my god, how many like trailers can you show before a movie?
Right. And it wasn't like the last preview either. There were like another 2 previews after that.
Yeah, we saw that Moby Dick movie that's coming
Yeah.
out.
The Star Wars one.
Star Wars one looked good. I mean, I think that the greatest thing about IMAX, besides the screen size, is just the audio. It's just
Mhm.
so loud.
That's my favorite part. That's what I was going to tell you. I forgot to mention it yesterday, but that's by far my favorite part.
Oh, 100%. And it wasn't too crowded, the theater.
Mhm.
I guess because it was a somewhat early showing, but I expected the theater to be a lot more crowded.
I did too.
We saw Skyfall. Jesus, look what you did. We saw Spectre. What'd you think?
So at the time, I when I finished watching, I was like, I'll give it like a 7. But the more and more that I keep reading about it and thinking about the things that I didn't like that bothered me, I want to drop it down to like a 6,
Yeah, that's what
which is
I gave.
disappointing. It's really disappointing. The opening scene's fantastic. I also really like the opening credits scene too.
Oh yeah, they've always done a spectacular job with like the just the way they designed the opening credits.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that they've kept that consistent over all the Bonds.
yeah. But the movie itself, I don't, without ruining too much of it, because it's really only a week old, so give people plenty of time to see
Spoiler
it,
alert.
and not. No, I'm not going to give any spoilers. It's just, I just feel like they could have done more with a lot of the characters that were in the movie. Like they brought in all these big name people, and they had few lines. Like they didn't develop the characters properly. Like I thought the villains, especially, I mean, because I'm going to compare it to Skyfall. Silva in Skyfall was a great villain, I thought.
Oh yeah.
And there's always an element you have to suspend your disbelief a lot in these Bond movies. Like, there are many times where Bond ends up in the middle of a layer of the evil, the bad guy, right? And the bad guy has plenty of opportunity to kill Bond, but they always want to have some elaborate trap or scheme to kill the person, to kill the hero, and Bond always has to find a way out of it. But like, I don't know, something about this movie just it was too absurd, too ridiculous at times, and
Yeah.
it was still entertaining. I'll still watch it when it comes on TV, all that good stuff. But there are just, I was disappointed because it wasn't as good as Skyfall.
It was definitely not as good as Skyfall, and you're right though. A couple of great I think the editing to the film was really nice. I definitely called that out the second we left. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my god, I was like such a fanboy over how they edited a lot of it.
Hmm.
A lot of great shots. The opening shot, the way you and I looked at each other immediately, like, is this being shot this way? And I'm like, I think it is. I think it is. Like, oh man, this is exciting.
Yeah.
So we walked out of that, and then we sort of like bummed around Midtown for a little bit.
Hmm.
We walked through Central Park, which you've never done before.
Yeah. I've never been to Central Park before.
I thought it was funny when you said I've only been here because Kevin from Home Alone has been
Came
here.
from Home Alone. Yeah.
And I go,
What?
yeah, he has been here. We walked into Nike Town,
Yeah.
which is just like a Nike superstore. I thought it was going to be cooler than what it was.
Had you never been there before?
No, I've been meaning to go there for a while.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to buy like some stuff for working out, but then I was like,
Hmm.
oh, like if it's Nike Town, like they're gonna have like some cool Jordans maybe. But then I realized like because like Jordans, like the Jordans I'm looking for are definitely a lot more just more street than what they're offering.
Yeah.
It's just a completely different audience, and I was like, okay, this is not these are not the droids you're looking for. So we sort of like we walked to the top, and then we just walked out.
I see. Yeah. Yeah.
I took you to Pinche Taqueria on Lafayette for like a quick bite because
Delicious.
it was just it had been a minute since we eaten, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. We both got chicken tortas, which are just like these nice sandwiches. I think the fact that it was warm. I think the fact that we got to sit down for a minute
Hmm.
was sort of like it just all added to how good that sandwich was.
Yeah. It's delicious.
Um, you walked a ton this weekend,
Yeah. So
as a side note.
I got that Fitbit, and Lane and I compete. We do the week challenges, so those span from Monday to Friday, and then we do the weekend ones too. So those are Saturday, Sunday, and I think I've had the Fitbit for about 3 weeks now. I've won one of the full week ones, and she's won like two of them, and then the weekend ones, I think she's won all three that we've competed for those. But this weekend, um, I did. So just to give you a general idea, it's recommended, and the goal for like the default goal is 10,000 steps in a day. Um, Now, if I go to work, I don't go to the gym, I don't take a walk or anything, I can be as low as about 3,000 steps at the end of the day. If I don't leave my house and I work from home and I don't do anything, that would be a lot less, probably around 2,000 maybe. So, um, getting 10,000 steps is good, but like getting 20,000 steps is very unlikely for most people. In fact, like the Fitbit subreddit, most people have hit 20,000 like once or twice, despite having it for like several months or years or whatever. Um,
Right.
so the only time Lane has hit her 10,000 steps or 20,000 steps, I mean, was when we were in Paris and we did all that walking that one time. If you guys remember back from like I don't know a few weeks ago, a couple months ago when I told that story. So yesterday we hit I think a total of 23,000 steps, which was awesome. Disappointed we
Turning
didn't
this organization around.
hit. So, I'm getting the win. I think I'm up like by 12,000 steps over Elena for this weekend. So
Yeah.
unless she just walks consistently for the next several hours, then this one's
Hey,
in the
you
bag.
never know.
Yeah,
You never know. A win's a win.
yeah. So
Yeah, it's like firing the head coach and they come out inspired for that one week and they like win the game and it's like, oh yeah,
yeah,
but wait, this isn't
we
gonna
won.
be a
Yeah, and 23,349 steps, equivalent to 10.71 miles,
That's
is what the
crazy.
Fitbit app tracked. Yeah,
I
10.71
didn't think we
miles is
walked
good.
that much.
Yeah.
I do know that every time I sat down, I was like, I definitely felt old manish, and I was like, oh Jesus, this is a nice moment.
Yeah. Felt good to just get off your feet, especially when we came back in after the taqueria. Like, got back in, just plopped down. We spent about an hour. Oh, yeah. So I guess that's the next part of the story. I'm sitting there thinking we finished the full day. We came back and came back to your place, just hung out for about an hour. You played Tomb Raider for a bit, right?
Yeah, you watched me. You watched me play Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Looks like a good game.
Yeah.
And then after that, we Madison Square Garden for Bill Burr.
Yeah. Like we were just sort of like chilling for a little bit until we had to head out, and we were gonna meet up with some friends, but we decided that let's just head to the show early. Thankfully, we did because it was already getting pretty packed when we got there, and man, I think it was just incredible that one of the rare times going to an event that we got off at the first level.
Yeah. Got
That's
that
that's what
ground
was that's what I was excited about. Just like
those ground seats.
ground seats. Like how many ushers did we have to talk to on a like every 6 steps? Like, hey guys, how can I help you? It's like, no, we're sitting here. All right,
Yeah.
enjoy the show.
Yeah.
We felt like rock stars to be all the way down there, and we were. I mean, the place filled up really quickly, and just like seeing like all of MSG start to fill up for old Billy,
Old Billy
old B-
Freckles.
old Billy Freckles. Um, and so first guy comes out, who's like sort of the opener guy, is Paul Verzi. I think
Yep.
he calls
Yeah.
him his best friend, right?
Yeah.
And pretty solid set. Started laughing. I definitely enjoyed his 10 minutes. He was definitely been a really good hype man for Bill Burr's new animated series on Netflix, F is for Family.
Yeah.
And then Joe DeRosa comes out, and I did not remember that he was on Better Call Saul.
And I think I stopped watching before he came back, before he was in the show, so I didn't know that he was in it.
Right. And he does a good job, and there was some, it turns out, because there was a group, a section, I want to say like stage left
Yeah.
all the way up in the rafters, that just was making a shit ton of noise. And the girl next to me was like, what the fuck is their problem?
Right.
And I go, I've got no idea. She's like,
But
she's ruined the show for everybody. And I go, I agree.
very, very distracting because they were like, some of them were booing, some of them were just making a lot of noise. And I thought I heard somebody say, like, we can't hear you. And it turns out that that was actually the problem. There's something was wrong with the speakers, and so they couldn't hear very well.
Right.
Um,
Which
but
would absolutely suck if you were in that section.
yeah, but distracting like making that big of a ruckus, like the ushers are very well aware of the problem, and they've made the audio people aware of the problem. It took them a really long time to fix it, but like the performers aren't going to sit there and wait for them to fix it. And it was just very distracting for us because we're looking up and then we're no longer listening to the performers. And
Right.
we're then muttering like what's going on, and so at that point Verzi did address it, where I think more or less he was just like shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Everyone was sort of like, because all of the comedians on stage that night were basically like living their dream of performing. And Joe DeRosa said that
Yeah.
when he came out. He goes, hey guys, shut the fuck up. I'm living my dream here right now.
Right.
And thankfully they fixed the audio. I know a lot of people got refunds.
Oh, really?
Yeah. People on Reddit were saying that, they talked to customer service, and they were a couple of people were issued refunds
Okay.
because they just like into like 10 minutes or 15 minutes into the bit, like the his first bit about the airline,
Yeah.
like they could not hear it. They
I
could hear
see.
people laughing, but they just couldn't hear anything that he was saying.
Wow.
So I'm glad that they were able to sort of write that for them, because it is
Yeah.
tough. Like, you're not gonna see him in Madison Square Garden every night,
Yeah.
and so I'm glad that they were able to get that. But man, I was crying the entire show. My glasses were fogging up. I kept wiping away tears. he definitely it was crazy because he would like attack the crowd, bring it back, attack the crowd, bring it back. Like he would always just keep pushing the audience one way, and then just like
Yeah,
his legendary ability to like win everyone back over.
right.
Oh my god, so many great bits, and I love how I mean just an awesome night, just an awesome night.
Yeah, it's a fantastic show. Really, really, really enjoyed myself. I'm glad. I love seeing opening acts. People that I don't normally see. Um, and I thought Joe DeRosa did a really good job. I certainly thought Verzi did a good job as well. But I thought DeRosa was really funny. Um, and then obviously Bill. Bill was great. I think like even he a couple of times he did try a couple of or he tried a couple of jokes that didn't necessarily fall flat, but they definitely didn't hit his standards, and he kind of addressed it. So there was the one he had made like a sports reference, and I just don't know if people got it or what. And so then he tried to change it to like a music reference, and again, people didn't care for it very much. So I don't know
Yeah,
if it was just a joke or whatever it was. And like the way he kind of brushed it off seemed like it sounded like it kind of got to him a little bit, but then he just kind of moved on, went on to a new joke. So
yeah.
he
I
was just like, what? He's like, really, that doesn't do it for you, huh? All right.
yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways,
yeah,
I like how casual he had it because I'm glad he didn't like, not that he would freak out in any way, but I'm glad how he was like, huh, interesting. Like he's literally workshopping this. And he goes, oh, doesn't do it for you. Like he said, let's try the music route. Oh no, oh, okay,
yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
I think referring to it as dingers was interesting because I don't think that's like something that maybe it's because I don't follow baseball, but I haven't heard them referred to as like home runs as dingers in a while
mm,
or ever. So maybe that's why he lost some of us when he referred. I mean, I knew exactly what he meant when he said that, but it was just like sort of like that workshop aspect. Like, oh, he's still like kind of fine tuning, like really just tightening the wheels up a little bit on some of the jokes.
yeah,
But man, like I love that he's investing more and more into like these long bits, like where the setup is like easily 10 minutes. And
yeah,
you're just captivated the entire way through. It's not like, oh, all right, let me invest in this setup. I may or may not laugh. No, you're laughing the entire way through. Oh, I loved it.
yeah.
It was so
Great time.
yeah.
My favorite part about the show was just how respectful the performers were in terms of just being on time, no like delays or anything like that. So like the show was supposed to start at 8. It started a little late, but that's fine because people weren't there. People were still flooding in when Verzi was going up.
Yeah.
The show may have started about like 8:20, which is totally fine. They were there, so it's not like they didn't start performing at 8 because they weren't there yet.
Oh
Ver-
yeah, that's a great point.
so like Verzi goes up, he does his set, and then he introduces DeRosa, who's there immediately right on stage, and then Verzi comes back and then introduces Bill. We get to see the F Family trailer. Looks like it's gonna be a great show.
Looks
Really
like
like
it's gonna
that
be a
trailer.
phenomenally funny show.
And then as soon as that was over, then he introduces Bill, and Bill comes right on. Whereas I've been to shows in the past where you're like sitting around waiting for like half an hour from between your opening act and the performer, like the headliner, and you know it's just nice to actually get that respect from the performer.
Right. Now
You know,
was that something that we had experienced when we saw Chappelle
it wasn't as long of a wait, but I did experience it when I saw Chappelle the year before at the what's it called, the Oddball Comedy Fest.
at
We
UD,
waited.
right?
We waited for. It was at in Camden, New Jersey. We waited for about 30 or 45 minutes between the what's the group called, Flight of the Concords, and Dave Chappelle. So we're just like kind of hanging out there, just
Oh
sitting there
wow.
waiting for him to come out. When we saw Chappelle at Radio City
Yeah.
like a year and a half ago, though, we waited like 15 minutes maybe. It wasn't that long.
Oh, it wasn't. Okay.
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I could be
I guess
wrong.
I just forgot. Like I guess I just forgot how much we might have waited.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I could be wrong, but if it was nice just to like it was just like one on, one off. Like they were just on point, ready to go. We got out like at 10:30 maybe, and it was a mess to get out. It took us a while to get out, but we finally got out, and then we headed over to meet up with my one of my old college friends.
Yeah. Who is uh who is working at LPR, Le Poisson
Yeah,
Rouge, Redfish in uh what's it called? Jesus. And next NYU. Um some place that I've definitely seen and been to before in my college days. So it's
yeah,
kind of fun to be back in that part of town, but also be like, oh my god, I'm an old man for a reason. Like everyone's drunk, everyone's in the streets, and I'm just like, oh, I can't. Everyone, go home. It's over. Um, but it was great to sort of catch up with your friends because I've met them before.
yeah. So I haven't seen Dave in a year and a half. So yeah, very good to catch up with him. He's been living in the city for about 2 years now, and I have to make up a trip to see him again, properly. This was like an hour and a half trip that we or visit that we got. Um, but after once we met
Yeah,
up with him, we got some pizza, and then after that, it's kind of like, well, what do we want to do now? And then I'm like, well, I
yeah,
know
we
you're interested. At least the UFC fights on. Ronda Rousey starts fighting at midnight, and I think at that point we had like 15 minutes to get to find a place where we can watch it, because we were worried that the fight was going to end in like 15 seconds. Um,
right. Well, because history has showed us that that is very possible with Ronda
yeah,
Rousey,
yeah,
and so we were on the corner of like Bleecker and McDougal. Uh, Actually, no, it was more like on Carmine's at this point because we had eaten at Joe's Pizza, great slice of pizza. If anyone's ever in that part of town, it's definitely worth the line. The wait's not too bad. The pizza it's so good. I just haven't had a slice of pizza like that in a long time, and it just definitely hit the spot. And then we
yeah,
just hustled to the AOA grill on Sixth and Canal. And the entire time I'm thinking like, am I willing to pay like up to like a $40 cover to watch UFC? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it. And luckily, when we get there, like we're like the fights like are well underway, and the place is pretty busy. I don't want to say it's like packed because I mean we found a seat,
yeah. We did.
but no cover.
Nope.
The waitress came over real quick with the menu. We got our drink orders in. Like it all happened really smoothly, and it was nice and warm, and the people around us were nice, and it was just great. It
Yeah,
was fun to watch a UFC fight because the last few fights that I've seen them in my apartment alone, sort of just like streaming it on my computer. So it's like you don't get to feel the energy when somebody connects with a shot and like everyone in the bar just reacts. Like, because everyone's reacting at the same moment. It's basically just like, I mean, for me so far, the closest I'll ever get to like watching a USC fight, quote unquote, live. And granted, this isn't truly live, but just like the that experience with sharing with other people. That's what I'm talking
right.
about.
No, I hear you. Um, yeah, we got there. There was the fight right before was on.
Yeah.
Um, so Ronda Rousey's record going into this fight was 12-0. Her last four fights before this one, she won in 34 seconds into the first round, 14 seconds into the first round, 16 seconds into the first round, 1 minute 6 seconds into the first round. She's only in her 12 wins. She'd only gone past the first round once, and that was her ninth fight against Misha Tate, which
Yep.
she made it to the third round, where she won by an armbar submission. So a lot of people, because of her last four fights, it's going back to February 2014. Her last four fights have been over within a minute. So a lot of people are expecting Holly Holm to just get demolished really, really quickly.
Right.
And on top of that, Holly Holm is she's not as seasoned of a UFC fighter, of a mixed martial arts fighter. She's known as a boxer and kickboxer. Um, and so she comes in as a heavy, heavy underdog. I think they're odd. I think she was plus 700
Yeah.
going into the fight, and Rousey was minus 1700.
Yeah.
So those the gambling odds, if you're not familiar with what those are. So most people obviously were betting on Rousey to win, and people were probably betting on how quickly she would win. And she comes out super
Like
aggressive.
she's done before.
Yeah, like she has done before, and it just did not work.
Now, I think the reason why it didn't work this time was because Holly Holm was able to calm herself down and know that she prepared for this type of aggression,
Yeah,
because Ronda Rousey always comes out swinging, and she didn't sort of like she didn't lose her cool, which you can appreciate from someone who might not necessarily have been in the ring in the octagon for as long as Ronda Rousey has.
yeah,
And it just seemed like the roles were reversed,
yeah,
because you know Ronda's coming out chasing all of these. She's just trying to end this fight as quickly as possible.
yeah,
And coming into the fight, she said that she was going to beat Holly Holm at striking,
yeah,
which is just an incredible thing to sort of promise, because Holly Holm has only, I don't know, spent her entire career becoming one of the world's best like boxers.
yeah.
And
Sh
you trained for 2 months, and then you think you can just beat her at what she's good at.
yeah,
Most
she
fighters, they take on a certain style.
right. Holly Holm is the current, or at least, maybe not current. Her last fight was in 2013, but she holds the welterweight, the welterweight title in women's boxing. So she's literally not just a professional boxer, but the championship boxer,
Yeah.
like the champion.
And
So you can't take her lightly. And when Rousey said that she was gonna, she's gonna beat her at striking, I've seen some people, at least maybe not beforehand, but I'm certainly seeing it now because I'm not much of a UFC watcher, but I see plenty of people saying how boneheaded of a decision it was and how they blame her trainer for letting her believe that she could actually beat her at striking and how she needed to get her to the ground. Now, to give Ronda Rousey some credit, it didn't necessarily look like she was 100% trying to take her out by boxing. But when she tried to close the distance, Holly Holm would just connect with some of these vicious hits, and Ronda was not blocking them very well. So it got to
she
the
was
point
eating
where,
a lot of them.
yeah, she's being hyper aggressive, trying to get her to the ground very early, and she kind of gassed herself. But then at the same time, she's taking these nasty shots to the face, and they clearly hurt. And so by the end of the first round, it did not look very good for Ronda Rousey.
She
And,
definitely lost the first round.
oh, easily lost the first round.
And what's interesting is because Ronda Rousey has been so effective at ending fights really quickly, she hasn't gotten hit a lot.
Yeah,
So I think it was sort of a I mean, I don't want to speak for Ronda Rousey here, but it potentially could have been just a bit of a shock to be like, oh my god, like I'm getting hit a lot more than I'm used to getting hit,
hmm
and then that'll obviously your sort of endurance gets affected if you're taking these massive shots that are connecting right in your face.
yeah,
I mean, Holly Holm was able, like you said, dance around, not get pinned too badly. She had great standing armbar defense, because that's obviously what Ronda Rousey is world famous for.
right.
And there was a couple times where she had her either pinned to the fence, or sort of like in the middle of the octagon, and Holly just was able to score it away, like
hmm
just not be allowed to get taken down to the ground, because it would have been interesting to see how Holly would have reacted had she been in a moment where she had to be on the defense.
Yeah,
Like if she's
yeah, for sure.
right, if like Ronda Rousey has one of her arms or what have you, like not full, not a full arm bar, but like getting her way there, that would have been interesting.
Yeah. At one point in
But
the
man,
first round,
Holly
Ronda.
Holm, go
Sorry,
ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, please.
I was saying, so one point in the first round, Ronda Rousey did get a nice hit on Holly Holm, which kind of staggered her. It definitely kind of like messed her up for a second, and Ronda Rousey tried to pounce on it quickly, but Holly Holm was able to recover, and she ended up taking Ronda Rousey to the ground. She was on top, and Rousey was on the bottom, but Holly Holm wasn't even going to get in the position where she can kind of reverse it and put her and submit her. So she literally just got up off the ground, pushed herself away, and brought it back to the ground, or I'm sorry, back to the feet.
Yeah. Which is the smart thing to do in a situation like
Yeah,
that.
she played this fight very, very, very well. It's every single punch, every move that she made seemed very well calculated. The very beginning of the fight, when she was kind of moving away, it seemed like I mean, she looked like she was a bit scared. And I wouldn't, I wouldn't doubt it or be surprised if she was, but she was really able to get away from the first like minute or two of the fight, seemed like the most dangerous part. It seemed like the time where if she were to screw up just slightly, Ronda Rousey would have taken advantage and ended the fight right there. But because she was able to evade that, I think she was able to, bide her energy and her strength and really take advantage of that, over the course of the next like 5 minutes of the fight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great point. And you know, Holly was just connecting with these devastating shots. And like you said, when they would trade, it was important for Holly to get her shots in,
Yeah,
not sort of just do like a clean trade that, you're not going to just sit there and like, rock 'em sock 'em against each other.
right,
But if she's going to get one in, you're going to make sure that like it's not a free shot.
right.
And there was those shots at the end of that second round where, I mean, the replays are there. Rousey's spun around, and you can debate whether or not she's out pre-kick to the
Hmm.
neck or post-kick to the neck. But
Yeah, I mean, she definitely looked woozy just getting up.
oh yeah, and it's
But
just a matter of, do you think she was actually out at that point or whatever? But man, that was that's like something out of a movie. The way she just knocked her out there,
yeah,
and then it's like the body goes limp, fall to the mat, 2 hits to the head just to confirm, and then just like the celebration
yeah,
from the preacher's daughter. It was great. It was a great
yeah,
fight. You could tell that the bar that we were at was like kind of Rousey, like kind of a Rousey bar. I don't know
yeah.
if those exist, but I think everyone expected
Just
this
people.
fight to just be for Rousey to be as dominant as before.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of people really like Rousey. I mean, in general, obviously on the internet, um,
She is an
and people,
inspiring person.
which is kind of interesting because of how cocky she is, how confident she is in herself, and kind of her composure, like her actions before fights too, like what she'll say about her opponents, like the whole at the weigh-in with like putting her fist up and kind of Holly Holmes' face to say, I got you, and as soon as Holly Holmes puts her fist up too, then they kind of end up in a scuffle. And then she starts, talking trash about her, saying how she's gonna knock her out tomorrow. And then before the fight, she tries to touch gloves. Holly Holmes tries to touch gloves with Ronda, and she just kind of backs away and just goes back to her corner. Um, and then, the debatable hit at the very end of the first round after the bell rang.
Oh right. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot about that. That
So,
was. I think everyone reacted to that where we were.
yeah. Yeah. It was very close to the end. So, like, yeah, it is what it is, I guess. But it just, a lot of people are very much pro Rousey. I think maybe it's partially because you haven't really seen anything like this, and you just kind of like to see how her dominate so fast. Like people are paying to see if she'll be able to knock somebody out again within the first like 15 seconds of a fight. Like what you're paying for, or people think that they know what they're paying for, and to see the complete opposite happen. I mean, like I'm not a supporter either way. I was just hyped, like I was shocked that's how it went down. So I feel like a lot of people felt like that too. Like there was definitely kind of a thunderous reaction by a lot of people. But my reaction, and I think some other people's reactions, wasn't necessarily like, yes, I can't, I'm so happy Holly won. It's kind of like, wow, I can't believe that's just happened.
Yeah, and it was funny because the guy next to us seemed like he was celebrating something with his girl, Like they had the flowers in the bag, and you could tell that
Yeah.
she did not want to be there. And he just kept talking to us. The nicest guy, didn't
Yeah.
catch his name. Really appreciated talking about like fighting with him, and it was just interesting because I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry." Like I just in my brain, I was like, "Hey, man," or to not "Hey, man," but "Hey, lady, I'm sorry that I keep talking to your guy about this because I know you want to get the f out of here right now."
Yeah.
Um, but it was a good crowd. I'm just glad we got to see it
Yeah. Yeah.
because the energy is always a little different knowing like not knowing the outcome and like seeing it live.
Right.
Yeah, and then we sort of what after that we just jaw on our way home.
Yep. Got back. You did. I did a little bit more work. You played a little bit of Tomb Raider, um, and then passed out. It was probably 3 a.m. by the time we passed out.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until too late. I was like, oh my god, no wonder I'm like so dead tired. Like we've been walking like you said over 10 miles, and
Yeah.
then like all of the energy from the fight, the adrenaline from that, the adrenaline from the show that we saw with Bill Burr. Like it was just a crazy night
Yeah.
overall. Great, had a ton of fun.
Yeah. For sure. Same here.
And then yeah, you just woke up, ordered some breakfast, like chilled out. We watched some like NFL films, like sound effects, and then you were on your way. And
Yeah.
then I proceeded to. I want to say I napped immediately. I didn't. I definitely had some Tomb Raider action going on. But then at around like 2 o'clock, or I texted you. I was like, "Hey man, I'm about to take this nap,"
Yeah.
and I fell into the deepest slumber. I didn't wake up till 4 o'clock. Literally, like not sure what dimension I'm in because I haven't taken a nap that long in a long time. I don't nap.
Yeah.
I'm just
Same.
not a big napper. But just like if I didn't nap, my body was gonna shut down.
Yeah.
Um, how was the ride home for you?
It was good. I passed out pretty hard on the bus myself. Um, I think I slept for about like half an hour. But yeah, ride down is pretty smooth, pretty easy. There was a bit of a delay getting to the bus stop, so I left your place with about an hour to get hour before my bus was supposed to leave, and there was a bit of delay on the train, and so I made like 5 stops, and I look at my watch and I realize like I have like I think like it. My bus was supposed to leave at 11. I look at my watch and it's like 10:45. I'm like, holy shit! I
Yeah.
have like another 5 stops. Like unless this train speeds up, I'm gonna get there too late.
Right.
But sure enough, we ended like we finished up in like the little construction zones. We just cruised to like through those remaining like 5 stops in like 5 minutes. Um, Hopped out the train, just walked underground, and I was able to connect to the Port Authority. I got to my gate, I think right about 11. Got on the bus, confirmed that was the right bus. Give the bus driver my ticket, which turned out to be my bill, which turned out to be my Bill Burr ticket from last night because I had them both, one in one pocket, the other in the
That's
other.
funny.
Um, so I got the right ticket. I gave it to him, and I was able to get on the bus. Um, yeah, got down here in about 2 hours. It was a pretty smooth ride, pretty quick ride, and met up with Lena.
Nice.
That was it.
Yeah. Action packed. Staring at 7:30 local time for us right now.
Yeah.
Just saw that Peyton Manning got benched.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, well he threw for 35 yards and then like 4 interceptions. Which
Jesus.
is kind of crazy because this is the same day that he breaks Brett Favre's like single like the singles game like career passing total.
Yeah. Yeah. He only needed 3 yards. The Colts were able to hold him off on that one because we didn't let him have the ball for about, I think, the last 7 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, good for you guys for sure.
But wow, 4 interceptions. Jeez, man.
Yeah. So in fantasy, in standard scoring, that translates to minus 2.6 points.
Wow.
Um, kind of sucks, but
Is he your quarterback?
no, I have Tom Brady tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. What's interesting is that it's a close one. 2 minutes left, or a little under 3 minutes left, and New England is up 24-23 against the Giants. It just seems like the Giants always have their number.
Yeah, they're giant. That's what I keep hearing. And the Giants have the ball right now too, right?
Yeah.
So where are they? There are New England's 28. Wow, 2 minutes 14 to play in the game. I don't have any of these games on right now. But if if the Giants are able to hold the ball for a little bit, and New England's using their timeouts, I guess they just used one a second ago. So if the Giants are able to hold the ball for the next like minute and a half, get a field goal, they're likely to win the game.
Yeah,
Not guaranteed, but likely.
and they're saying that the Patriots have not beaten the Giants since 2007. Like,
Wow.
what a record to hold! Because it seems like most teams, when like the Patriots roll into town, they're like, "Yep, count it as a loss. Don't even get off the bus." But
Yeah.
the Giants are just like, "Nope, we're gonna play this game and we're gonna win this game." And it's just like that,
Yeah.
the confidence to be like, "I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you."
Yeah. Yeah. The Coughlin just seems to figure out what the Patriots are doing. I don't know what it is, but it's almost like how how Belichick has the Colts number, except he's just really good at beating us by like 30 points. We never make it close.
I was just about to say that the Giants are the Holly Holm of the weekend. But
Yeah,
that's
right.
but I don't want to disrespect anybody or
Of the
not give
NFL.
enough respect to Holly Holm because just that domination, man.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get beat up. That's all I'm trying to say.
It was a really good fight, man. Really, really good fight. There will be a rematch for sure.
For sure. And I'm just glad there's more of like fighting fans out there. I know my friend at work got me into it, and it's just like it's nice to start to like have interest in this stuff.
Yeah. How do you pronounce that woman's name who fought before? It
But
starts with a J. I don't know.
oh,
I
God
don't know.
knows.
Um,
When
but
I mean, when you throw
she,
that many consonants at me, I'm gonna
there are a
freak out.
lot. Where's she from? Like Ukraine, maybe? I'm not sure. But she's an amazing fighter too. She's
Poland, maybe.
undefeated. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is Poland. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not. I'm
maybe.
not gonna. There's no way I'm gonna find it if I start trying to look for it right now. But um,
Yeah.
maybe I would be able to find it. UFC 193. Um, but she has really exciting fights too. They tend to go the distance, I believe, but they are just like brutal. Dread set jigs. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Joanne
Like
is
that
her first
Robbie
name.
Lawler Rory McDonald fight where he punched that man's nose in, and the man
Yeah,
just could not fight anymore.
yeah. Poland, you're right. 11-0. She fights in 115 weight class. Um, yeah, very solid fighter. She I also wanted to see the Uriah Hall fight. I've seen like from he was on the Ultimate Fighter, and he had like this brutal kick that knocked out his opponent. You'll definitely find it if you just search YouTube for it. You just search Uriah Hall. That'll probably be the first link that comes up. And uh, and apparently he's been very hit or miss though in his fights. Like sometimes he's just on, and other times he's not. He had a really like a series of really good combos yesterday with his kicks, but he did lose the fight. Went to decision.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Um. So yeah, I mean, now I'm just doing laundry as we speak. I didn't realize how cold it was going to be this weekend,
mm,
so I was a little chilly, and I just decided, you know what? Because I'm always trying to figure out like when's the right time to pack everything away.
yeah,
Because living in New York, I don't have a lot of storage space, so everything is always in like these nice like clear plastic bins to just like sort of store away for easy access.
right,
And normally, like I like to sort of ring in a new season by just like washing everything because they haven't been washed in a couple months and it's all musty and whatnot. And so today I washed all the sweaters, scarves, stuff like that. I got my outer jacket, like my winter jacket, dry clean yesterday. You were there for that,
yeah,
and yeah, I do have to get that other jacket clean though because that girl spilled that beer on it. Fuck. More errands, more errands.
of course.
So I think I'm gonna have to call it here for me.
Yeah, yeah, same. Got some more work to do.
Yeah, but again, man, legendary weekend
Yeah, good times.
for sure. I think that's it for me. Anything else for you?
Nope,
All right,
nope. That's it.
all right, cool. Well, I'm Sandy.
I'm Reza.
Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you guys next week.